So, something a lot of people don't realize is that buying a house and owning real estate is one of the first steps you can have to creating generational wealth for your family. Now, a lot of people in New Mexico feel like they're stuck financially. The fact of the matter is, we is in New Mexico is a broader state. We tend to be one of the poorest states in the union. We also tend to have some of the slowest and most minimalist economic growth as anywhere in the country. And so, how can you propel your family forward? Well, let's talk about equity and how that builds wealth for your family. And just a very, very brief description: what my house is worth versus what I owe on it. This gap is equity, and this is wealth for your family. So let's just explain really simple. Every time you pay on your mortgage, every month you pay on your mortgage balance actually goes down a little bit. The other thing you want to be aware of is many of the times your home value goes up year over year. As a matter of fact, over the last 50 years, the average home value has jumped 3.6% per year, every year for the last 50 years. And so that difference between what your home is worth and what you actually owe on that home is equity, and that gives your family choices. So let's talk about some real wealth creation. What can you do with that equity when you get it? And, some of the families I've been working with on selling their homes, I sold them a home 7, 8 years ago. They're sitting on $150,000 of equity just like that. And so what can you do with that equity? Well, one of the things you can do is you can refinance high interest debt. And that way you can make your payments more affordable. You can use your equity to cash out that debt. And then you're in a position where you might have more discretionary income every month, as well as getting your debt paid off. I've had families who have taken the equity out of their house. That way they can send their kids to college, which has been a wonderful opportunity for those children because they may not have had that opportunity without their parents being homeowners. You can use your equity to borrow money from your house to be able to start a business. And that's something that a lot of people dream about, is how do we start a business, but they can't get the funds needed to be able to get that business off the ground. There's always the opportunity for an emergency safety net where you have a home equity loan or whatever. It can kind of fill the gap if there's emergency funds that are needed. I also have people that refinance their houses, and they put big remodeling projects into that refinancing and such. And that way they always get the dream kitchen that they were always looking for. Or there's also people who sell their house, take that big chunk of equity that they've earned and put it down on a down payment on a house that better fits their needs. So the bottom line is, I've had clients that are shocked years later when they realize how much their house has quietly earned, how many tens of thousands of dollars in wealth that they've generated just because they're homeowners and they're making their payments on time. And so something that you do want to be aware of is that appreciation really matters. And this is where we're really talking about leverage. See, if you go to the bank and say you want to borrow, $200,000 to go put it in the stock market, the bank guy is probably going to call for security to escort you out. However, you can go into a bank all of the time and ask them to borrow $200,000 to get a home, and they actually will be happy to write it for you. And the thing about that is it gives you the opportunity with less money out of your pocket to earn that kind of equity. So let me give you the example. If I took $200,000 of my own money and put it into the stock market, I am 100% at risk whether that stock market goes up or goes down. And if it grows 3% per year, I'm only earning 3% on the money. However, if I go and get a bank loan for $200,000 using various down payment assistance programs, I can get into a home for zero down. And then that property grows by 3% every year. I'm actually making my cash on cash investment return is actually significantly higher than if I had to front all of that money up myself. So appreciation is going to matter for you, and it's going to really help you 5, 7, 10 years down the road. You can have tens of thousands of dollars of equity in your property. It also protects you from inflation because a lot of times those property values go up higher than what the inflation rates are. So it's protecting you for that long term. And it's a forced savings account through mortgage payments, which simply means you're paying for housing anyway, whether you're renting a place or owning it. And when you own it, Every little month that you pay, that balance is going down just a little bit, and over the years that really builds up. Renting covers this month, ownership can really change your future. So one thing that you want to be aware of is equity is built slowly and then it kind of jumps up suddenly, right? You might only see the first year, you might only see, a $6,000 increase in your property value. But then 10 years later, you see that it's grown up to like $50,000 or $60,000 of property value growth. And that really helps you out when you need it. So the goal isn't just really about buying a house. The goal is really building stability for your family, options for the future, and long-term generational wealth for your family. If you want to understand how home ownership could realistically look like, what it would look like for you, reach out to Coldwell Banker High Desert Realty and myself. There's a link in the description where you can do this, or you can just give me a call at 575-496-1068 or on the office phone, 505-863-4363. The thing you want to understand is making the decision now to create generational wealth for your family is going to benefit you 5 years down the road. If you're timid about it, 5 years is going to pass anyway. The question is, do you have the equity or not? Give us a call. Let's put a kibosh on this thing and let's help you and your family get into generational wealth. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.